Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Full Story Testimonies. I'm going to start out with a big thank you. Big thank you to everyone who's took interest in this, watching, liking, sharing, commenting. We sure do thank you guys. Big thank you to my editor, Nicholas Hart. Y'all hit him up for anything you need. He does more than just podcasts. Another big thank you to our guest today. Known him for a while. I don't remember it, but they said that I used to toddle up to his big truck and ask him for a honey bun. He'd give me a honey bun. Known him forever, been around forever. Greg, Big Block Slaven. Thank you for coming, man.
Thank you, Isaac. Thank you for having me on, man. Of course, a little nervous as always, but it's I've watched all the podcasts you've done so far, and I really like them. Really enjoyed them.
Good.
And just looking forward to it.
Good.
Maybe be a help to someone.
Yeah. Let's hope so. All right, we'll jump right into it if you're ready.
Hey, if you got questions, just fire off.
All right. Where, when, and how did you grow up? Who raised you?
Where, when, and how? Where was here. Grew up here in Scott County, of course. Graduated Scott High School. Um, Mom, dad, typical mom, dad. Mom, dad both worked.
Yeah.
My mom has never had one job. She's always had at least two. Always a hardworking family. Grew up, spent a lot of time with my grandma on my mom's side and my grandpa on my dad's side. When everybody works and stuff, you spend time wherever you can. Um, just typical kind of childhood thing, hunting, fishing. Uh, just never, no church, nothing like that.
Okay.
Dutton, and I do this. I've done this. I've given my testimony a bunch of times, and I don't want to seem like I'm trying to give my parents a bad name. My dad's no longer with us. We just lost him, but it's been 5 years ago, and but we know where he's at.
Yeah.
That's what matters. But just church wasn't something we done,
Okay.
So my grandma on my mom's side, I always and my papa on that side too. I always, when you went to their house, he'd have some kind of gospel music play, and he wanted to watch some particular show, and it was a typical Southern grandma Sunday dinner. We go hang out there. That's about all I really knew about God, and Jesus. And there was a big family Bible laying on the coffee table there, and uh, just never really went to church when I was a kid or anything.
Yeah. So how about your, what was it like growing up? I guess that probably covered it, but I mean, moving, we can.
Oh yeah, that's fine. We My grandma lives in Helenwood.
Yeah.
We moved to Oneida when I was about, I'd say I was in first grade, kindergarten or first grade.
Yeah.
And lived there. My mom still lives in that house. And lived there just pretty much. I went to Huntsville Elementary, Huntsville Middle, and Scott High School. Graduated in '96. Being just, I'd say for the most part when I was younger, just typical childhood. Dad liked to fish, and we squirrel hunted, rabbit hunted, deer hunted some. Did a lot of fishing. Had a lot of cousins. That I can remember having two 14-foot boats at Ponderosa there when you could fish down there, and we'd have them ends of them butted together and tied together, and there'd be 6 or 8 of us in two boats. Everybody fishing, and I can remember my grandpa on my dad's side. All them they're musically talented, and it skips a generation. I didn't get that, so and I can remember bluegrass music being played on the front porch of my papa's a lot. And of course, with bluegrass naturally comes some gospel and things like that. Spent most of my time in a garage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, Ross Randy, I think he's your dad's first cousin. I believe that's right.
Yeah.
I met him when I guess I was probably 7 or 8. I wasn't very old. And I grew up always with a love of old classic cars and hot rods and trucks and just stuff like that. So, um, when I met him, I had a garage, and I was hanging off the fender going, "What's this do? What's that do? What's this?" It drove him crazy. I don't know how he put up with me. And spent, well, every summer and every evening that I could there. He passed away when I was 24.
Okay.
Um, that was rough on me. He was like a big brother to me. He showed me a lot of things, taught me a lot of things. Um, and I got mad at God over that. because he took my
Yeah.
buddy, and he was just a great guy. I mean, I've known the guy, never known him to really do anybody wrong,
Mm.
never known him to have any kind of bad habits like drinking or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I've seen him help drunks out many times at wreck in front of his place, and
Yeah.
uh, but I spent all kinds of time with him, and then when he passed away, man, I was mad at God. Like I said, I was 24, and I hadn't lived right by no means, and but I was mad. I was mad because he took my friend from me.
Yeah.
I didn't I didn't understand, at 24, but that's something that would kind of get into later. I was already into some things I didn't need to be into,
Right.
so I didn't. It didn't help,
Right.
and I don't want to jump ahead. I know you got to
No,
go
you
here.
well. So through your through your teenage years,
Yeah,
what was God to you? Who was God to you?
I come from the era of in school we still do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yep.
We still said a prayer every morning,
Mhm.
and that was about it for me,
Yeah.
honestly.
Okay.
Like I said, I remember going to church like a Bible school just a handful of times,
Yeah.
and just thought it was something you did.
Right.
Thought it was like a social event.
Yeah.
We go to church on Sunday. We go,
Yeah.
I don't want to say that it didn't mean much to me in the sense,
Right.
but I didn't know uh, much about him. Um, yes, at that point in my life, I believed in God. We all believed in God, it was just not something that it was never.
Center of your attention
Yes,
at the
kind
time.
of. What's the verse where it says, "Train a child up in the way it'll go, and whenever it's old, it won't depart." And I'm not trying to quote the Bible by no
No,
means.
you
I'm
good.
nowhere
Yeah, I
near
know what you
anything,
mean.
but I didn't have that.
Okay.
So I guess probably typical of somebody that didn't go to church.
Yeah.
Probably just somewhere along that lines is what it
Mhm.
meant to me.
Okay. Now, so before Ross passed,
Hmm.
what was life at Big Block like?
Oh man, I mean, before I was old enough to drive, mom or dad would take me over there and drop me off in the summertime, and we'd hang out, man.
Yeah.
We'd take cars apart, try to put them back together, and then we just, and I was living. It was the best thing ever.
Yeah.
Now I can change my own oil. At that time, it's like we're gonna swap this motor and do this and that. It's 2 o'clock in the morning, laying on concrete. I'm in. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Uh, but man, that was kind of that. Later on, um, I got started on the wrong road early. Okay. First time I ever had a drink of alcohol was in the 6th or 7th grade at school.
Okay.
And I guess, because there's a big age difference between me and you, I guess they still do the Christmas parties and different parties, like in classroom stuff that, maybe some of those kids' mom would bring treats and whatever. We
Right.
still had pop machines in school then, and my boy says they don't have them anymore. You can't get
Huh.
a pop now. But anyway, so a buddy of mine snuck in some liquor,
Okay.
and boy, we thought we was on the high life. We
Yeah.
thought we was really, really something. It was
Mm.
just two or three of us, nobody else knowed or whatever. And you know how that goes. It ain't long till we get called to the principal's office.
Yeah.
And my principal is Frankie Lathley. She's passed on now. She was a great lady. And she said, "I want to talk to you because I know you won't lie to me." So okay. She said, "I heard that there was some alcohol at this Christmas party. I think it was whatever holiday it was."
Yeah.
And she said, "I know you won't lie to me." So was there and looked at woman straight in the eye and told her no.
Yeah.
Lied to her like a dog. And it ate at me, and it still ate at me even when she passed away, because I lied to that woman and she thought so much. But I learned that my good demeanor and good behavior, I can hide some lying.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
and the devil took that, spun that out of control. And like I said, that was 6th or 7th grade. So what would I be in? 11, 12,
11, 12,
something like
13.
that.
Yeah.
remember being driving age, drinking beer, just what you would consider to be typical,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
We didn't realize how dangerous it was because, we don't really know what we're messing with till we get in the middle of it and it's too late. Kind of like, what they say when they say changing boats in midstream.
Yeah.
Um, so alcohol just become just typical thing. And there was like I said, I was done into some stuff and before my buddy Ross passed and I had, I was truck driving. I started driving
Okay.
truck. Just I was around it, with your dad, your papa, and
Yeah.
everybody else around here that does it. And I wasn't old enough to drive them, but and then your Uncle Curtis, I'd help him tinker on them and work on them and just anything I could to be around them. And
Yeah.
when I got old enough to drive, I just took off and then um, I started with my own stuff in my own truck when I think I was 21 when I bought everything. But anyway, sold a truck that I built at Ross's and bought my first big truck.
Okay.
Had two trucks. We hauled car parts. The typical line then was like Atlanta, Georgia area to Michigan, east around Detroit and western Michigan too. I had a team operation in one, and I drove the other. The team operation quit, bought their own stuff, completely understandable. And then you're gonna like this part. Fuel got over $1 a gallon,
Yeah.
and everybody flipped out.
That'd be terrible.
That'd be awful.
Yeah.
I think it's 3 of them. Anyway, whatever. Yeah. So um, that was kind of a recession a little bit in trucking. I remember it that way. So I was running one truck and trying to pay for two.
Yeah.
I was running 4,000 or 5,000 miles a week by myself, or trying to. You didn't sleep much then. There was no such thing as an EOD and a 10-hour reset and all that. It was you got logbook pages, you got hours going.
Yeah.
And the bunch that I worked for was outlaw to say the least.
Gotcha.
I've seen it. I've had it happen to me too. They'll slide us some paperwork across the desk. Here it's a 10-hour ride, and you've got 10 hours to get there. You better hurry. And you'd open the paperwork up, bill ladens up, and there'd be a second open there. Yeah. So that's how I got started on that stuff. So let me back up just a little bit. The first time I can remember ever seeing any kind of drug other than alcohol, I was about 17 or possibly 18. I can't remember numbers and past dates pretty good. But anyhow, I was riding around with a buddy of mine drinking beer. And he drug a little bag out. And I said, "What is that?" He said, "Does this bother you?" I said, "It can't bother me. I don't know what it is."
Yeah.
And he said, "Well, it's cocaine." And I said, "There ain't no way that's cocaine. Let me see that. That's that stuff you see on TV. Ain't no cocaine. It's Scott candy. Boy, was I wrong?" But so he done him a line of coke, and he said, "Man, don't fool this stuff you know, if you keep from it." And I said, "Well, I've never done it." He said, "Well, don't." So of course, humans were naturally curious.
Yeah.
I thought about that, and I didn't end up trying it. But later on, when I was trucking so hard, somebody said, "Man, you can do this little old bitty line of dope here, an inch or two long or whatever. You won't have to sleep." I'm like, "Sounds like a good deal to me. Let's try this. And at first, you got to do it, and man, you could travel all day, all night, whatever, it'd be good. And then before it's all said and done, you couldn't go across parking lot without having stopped at another line. And a little got to, as that song goes, a little wasn't doing, so a little got to be more and more.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, it's a problem. What comes with that is the people that you hang around, the people that deal drugs. Most of them ain't saints.
I got you.
So we get, and I get involved in the dope and stuff with at the time what would be considered the correct ones, that had the good stuff.
Yeah.
But it's the wrong ones.
Right.
So I've got into some things I didn't need to get into. Was tied in with some what they call kingpins, heavy hitters, whatever.
What age range were you
Oh,
roundabout? If you
okay, so the first time I seen Coke was 17 or 18.
Okay.
I was probably 20, not hardly 22, probably. First time I started doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so, and at that point in my mind, it was a business decision. This makes sense. Let's do this without knowing the rest of it. And a prime example of that now is doing things on our own and not consulting God, not praying. I was in a bind. Here's this way out of this bind.
Yeah.
And there's a scripture in the Bible that talks about the little foxes and the tender grapes. Jim Strunk, fine man, preached my baptizing, love him dearly. He taught a lesson I've never forgot it. I can't hardly remember where my truck keys are half the time, but I've never forgot this. He said the foxes, and I can't remember where it is right now. I should have wrote it down when we come in here, but he said it starts out with a little hole. That's how sin works. It starts out with a little hole. And before it's all said and done, you got a hole big enough you can walk an elephant through. And I think we have good intentions in maybe, I don't want to say bad things, but when I do, I don't mean like just terrible bad things, just maybe like not proper for God, not godly things.
Yep.
And the good book also says you have not because you ask not.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think that's kind of how that gets started. You know, I was in a bind without even praying, which, you know, I wasn't in church or anything like that. Right. Yeah. So the dope started. I was never addicted. As crazy as that sounds, I was never addicted to any of the dope. Like I said, it started out, we'll do it for just to get by.
Yeah.
Then the people I was hanging out with on the weekends, they wanted to get high and stay high.
Yeah.
They want to do this, they want to do that. So I was doing dope. Excuse me. I was doing dope all week, thinking I'll rest this weekend. Weekend rolls out. It's party time. You're at that age. You don't get left out.
Yeah.
Let's go. So what do you do to stay up another couple more days? You do another line or two, you know. And I thank God I was never addicted. You know, I've got some friends that I've got some friends that went down that road. I got some friends that I can't even let in my house to this day. I got some I haven't seen. Then I've got some that are no longer here with us. It always, and you have to excuse me.
You good?
I get thinking about some of them, and they're in here, and I wonder if that blood's on my hands. You know, I got to think about that. I have to deal with that. I see them headstones a lot. Like I said, the weekend comes around, we're partying all the time, and I mean, I've seen men that work extremely dangerous jobs, cash their checks, count their money out. I got to have this to live on next week. This pays my bills. We'll party on this.
Yeah.
And we'd go buy whatever they wanted to buy. We'd pile in a vehicle, usually mine. We'd run around all the time, 6, 8 of us. How many we could fit in a vehicle? Didn't matter. You do that for a little while, you become known. You lay with dogs, you go away with fleas. You know what I mean? Birds of a feather flock together. All them cliche sayings, and you know you get to be known for that. And you know, when you walk into a room and people's eyes get big and they start whispering to one another, the flesh of you gets carried away. You know, I think I'm somebody. Okay. These people know who I am, you know. And there's so many ways the devil cheats us out of our blessings and messes us up, you know. Pride is not a good thing. No. Pride is not a good thing. In fact, it says it's, you know, there were 6 things he mentioned in the 7th abomination, and the first one's a proud look. Yeah. But you know, you feed off that. Your flesh feeds off that, you know, and I love that part of it. And I like the drugs part. I like the feeling. You know, who doesn't? But there's some people that aren't here, man, that I'll never forget. I don't mention names or anything because they got family members. I don't know. Some they got kids, and I don't know where they're at or anything like that. I don't want to upset anyone, but you know, I'm ashamed of myself. And let me say this too, and I hope this don't get cut out. Anything I say on here, and I've said anytime I give my testimony, it's not for my glory whatsoever.
Right.
This is not anything for me to benefit out of. I don't want any benefit from it. The good book tells us that our righteousness is a filthy rags.
Yeah.
So anything I do is going to be bad if I do it without God's help and God's leadership. Everything that I say on here is true. I don't pull no punches, and that's the reason I like the full story testimonies. You know, you get to do, like you say, some people just don't want to ask these kind of questions in church.
Right.
And we're sitting here, and anything you want to ask, you ask. I'm an open book. But I just, there's no glory in this, okay? Right. The only glory I have is I was a sinner that needed a Savior. And on Jesus' behalf, he hung on the cross for me and you and everybody else. So I get to go to heaven someday.
Praise
God. Man, yeah, thank the Lord. I mean, if I don't make it today, if I don't make it past this podcast, it doesn't matter. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Best thing ever happened to me, salvation.
Yes, sir.
I mean, that's it. And I try to stay on track as I go, but things come to mind, and I just say what's on my heart at the time. And that's another thing I told you. I've never felt like I got my full story out in a church setting. But when you're standing up there and you're looking, there's 75, 80 people, whatever, looking back at you, you do get nervous. Yeah, that look right there, you know, waiting on you to say something. He's going to do a trick or something. But anyway, but no, I don't, there's no glory in none of this. Right. Only thing is I had enough sense to know I needed Jesus. Yeah. So, like I said, hung out in bars from the time I was 17, 18. Yeah. Had some good friends that snuck me around the bars, and, you know, because I wasn't enough to get in. So I've always kind of been that rebellious lifestyle, maybe. Some may say outlaw, but I don't want to really use that term. It just doesn't, you know, maybe paints a picture that I'm really not.
Maybe seeing what you could get by with.
Oh, absolutely seeing what I could get by with. And then some. And like I said, I learned at an early age that you act like you're a good person and you try to keep everything hid, they'll believe you when you lie to them. Yeah. I remember one particular time I was involved pretty deep. Now, my name's been on the DA's desk. You know, not my real name, my nickname. Nobody knows my real name anyway. They didn't know who I was. They just word through the grapevine. He's trafficking a lot of dope into this county. Okay. That wasn't true. There was no truth to that whatsoever. I know how it looked. Now, was there dope in my pocket when I was in this county? Yeah, probably was. Yeah. Probably nothing there was. Okay, let's just be honest. Right. But I was followed by police, multiple states, because they thought I was into some stuff I wasn't into. Why that is, I don't know. I've got some ideas of why, but I'm not sure. But anyhow, I just got to be everywhere I went. Somebody know me for something. Somebody know me for dope, or I knew these guys for dope, or I knew those guys for, you know. And man, it was a revolving door. It's kind of like once you get on that carousel, it's hard to get off. Right. You know, and it just kept getting worse and worse and worse, worse. Couldn't go nowhere. Police followed. Even had friends that had got in trouble with the law. They was leaning on them hard. Mm-hmm. Hey, we know he's doing this. We know he's doing that. You're going to have to tell us something. You know, they'd have him on probation or whatever, and they, keep him from trying to get tabs on me. And there wasn't a whole lot of that going on. Okay, yeah. Just to be honest, not like they thought. Now, did I have dope on me that enough to have a felony? Oh yeah, multiple times, I'm sure. You know, but also too, when you do it all week, those guys want to keep it a secret. You know what I mean? Because they were just, trying to get through the week. Yeah. They're just trying to do as much as they can this week, do whatever. When you come home and do it on the weekend, they don't want it to be a secret. They want everybody to know, hey, we're living a party life. We're having a big time. Yeah. Jump on the train. Let's go. You know, okay. But it's it's very difficult just to sit and tell everybody what a sorry person you was. But like I said, the dope got to be more and more. I got to where I was really not feeling good, staying sick, and it was just that. And then when Ross died, I was 24. Um, I was still trucking, of course.
Were you still using when Ross died?
Yeah, not as much. That was just a subtle thing.
Yeah.
I was just a little bit,
Yeah.
not really no. I drank all the time.
Right.
And when after he died, I drank all the time. I mean, all the time, every day, all day, as much as I possibly could. When I say I'm not when I was trucking, of course, but
Right.
when I was home, that's what I lived for. I wanted to come home and drink.
So when Ross passed, that kind of tipped the scales, so to
Probably,
speak.
yeah. Looking back, I never said or thought about that before, but I was pretty mad at God for taking my friend. He's a good guy. All these people in here that sorry people, I can take some of them, and of course, me being stupid, not knowing no better, saying things like that.
Out of all people, you took
Out
my
of
friend.
all people,
Right.
and you took my friend that would give you his last dollar and the shirt off his back, literally.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that probably tipped the scales, I would say. Then, so I lived my life at that point, especially at that point, like I did not care. Didn't care if I lived or died.
So, I guess, I mean, you had Ross as a good influence.
Oh, he's a very good influence.
And then you had other people you ran with who probably weren't good influence. You lost your good influence.
Yeah. Yeah, and thinking now that you said that made me think. I can remember wanting to go over there, but I'd be high, and I wouldn't really go in there. And I never took dope around him or anything like that. Like my wife, whenever I met her when I was 18, I never would. She was a great person. She was a phenomenal person, and I would not take her around. Okay. It's probably why we lost touch for as long as we did. That's probably the story. But, so yeah, good influence. Lost my good influence.
Still had trucks?
Yes. Okay. Yes, I did. So it didn't take long for everything to come full circle. Like we're done. I'm just existing. I remember I'm done with the dope. So what done me in is I had a dedicated run and I ran a night shift. And I stopped by a place. It was a truck shop and things. A buddy of mine told me, so I'm gonna take you there. You run by this guy's place all the time, you may need something done, blah, 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 blah. So we go in there and I meet this guy, and I know right away, as soon as I walk in the door, this ain't just your average truck shop. Because as soon as he seen me, his whole demeanor changed. He asked the guy with some special adjectives, who's this guy?
Gotcha.
He said, I told you about him. It's a big block. He said, oh, demeanor swapped right back. Man, it's nice to meet you. I've heard so much about you. So-and-so speaks highly of you. And I'm like, well, what are we doing? Yeah. I just want to meet this guy in case we get something. And that's when I found out he was one of the major players.
Gotcha.
And he pulled all his guys in there, and I don't know what they were doing. I was still shocked. I was trying to get over, because I thought we just, but anyway. So he told all his guys, see this guy, so-and-so, he rolls in here. He says, big block, call him big block. He said, he rolls in here, whatever he needs, you make it happen. Whatever you need. Yeah. And he turned around to me and said, whatever you need, you get it right. And I don't think he meant a pack of cigarettes and $20 till Friday. You know what I mean? Right. I think it was, and I left there a little shook. I thought, man, how far did he mean that? Does he mean if when somebody, is it just buy my dope there? Or is he, and I thought, what's it going to cost me? Am I going to start trafficking dope? Is that what he's wanting me to do? We're going to start making people disappear? I mean, I really didn't know.
Right.
And I'm not that guy, okay? I'm just not. And I was really shook from that. And it really got me to thinking about things. And it got me looking at my life, like how deep I was involved in this stuff, because I was known for that everywhere I went. Like I said, partying on the weekends. Yep. um, running the bars, just all that stuff that there's no good in it. And was coming home, hauling car parts, as you know, with your dad doing it, as long as he done it. Around Christmas time, it closes 2 or 3 weeks. Everything kind of slows down. I was coming home, and that's back to that. That's what I said. I was running one truck by myself, trying to pay for it, running Atlanta to Western Michigan 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Me and a second dope. There was times I'd give them $500 to pull over and lay down. Yeah. Just so tired, and you just ragged and run. And even there's a point where it comes to even the good speed don't help you. The good dope don't help you. It's just because your body takes so much. It's got to recover, Yeah. And I was coming home, and I was in my big truck, and I knew I needed help. I had friends that were starting to see stuff, starting to say things to me. Hey, you okay? You don't look good. Something's going. And it's just, I'm sure you don't know, but all that stuff they make, that crap, it ain't good. If you look up the ingredients, I think there's a skull and a crossbones on all of it. Right. And I was like, I want some of that good dope. That stuff there. You don't got phosphorus, whatever. But anyway, so I was coming home, and I was on Highway 63 over here, just before you get into Scott County.
Yep.
And man, I was as broke as I could be. I was not financially, just mentally, physically. I was broke. I was rock bottom, as they say. Everybody's rock bottom is different, right?
Yeah.
And I remember I just turned the FM radio down, turned the CB radio off. And I started talking to God. And I said, God, I don't even know if you're real. I'm not 100% sure what to think about any of this stuff. But Lord, if you're real, I need some help. Because I'm going to end up dead or in prison. Or dead in prison. I know where I'm going. And I don't want to do this no more. I'm done with all this. Yeah. Like I said, I was coming home because of the Christmas holiday shutdown. I think it was, and like I said, it's hard for me to recall everything. The timeline wise. Shortly after that, I went to do some Christmas shopping. I had a friend of mine with me because I needed to go pick out some things for some ladies, some girls and friends and stuff. And so I took a girl with me, right. Not a girlfriend or nothing, just a girl with me because I needed that female influence. Because if you want to pick out stuff, you don't me buying Christmas presents, trust me. Yeah. And I had a brand new pickup truck. Like I said, I thought I was living the high life. I had a new pickup truck. I had my own trucking business, man. I had new four-wheelers. I had friends. I had money. Whatever you wanted, except for what I needed.
Looking back, seems like a good time to throw this in there. As long as I've known you, you've always had just something cool.
Yeah.
Square body.
Yeah.
Drag truck.
That was my dad and my papa's influence there. We always was car people, and even my uncle, he has an awesome car collection now. Yeah. I think he's got a lot of them. But yes, so yes, I've always kind of had something big.
One of the first hot rod Duramaxes I'd ever been around, first ever twin turbo Duramax I'd seen. Yeah. But I hate that I've sidetracked you this much, but while we're here, and you had the long hoods, you've had the new pickup truck, got a nice motorcycle too. Yeah. And that stuff bring you joy?
Okay, so I don't fool with hot rods anymore. Right. Don't care about building them. Mm-hmm. I used to love building them. We'd build one and kind of get done with it. I'm like, okay, sell it or something. Right. Do something else. Because once you get it done, it's I really don't even enjoy car shows as much anymore. There's one named after my dad. My dad was a huge car fanatic. Always has been. That's where I get it from. So there's a car show at the Oneida Park once a year, and it's in his honor. I'll go to that. Mm-hmm. And then occasionally one or two more other than that. Didn't get into bikes till recently. Now, to me, a bike, I don't have to ride cross country. Right. Okay. I can get on a bike and I can ride 20, 30 minutes right here. Yeah. We do what we call the loop right through Payroll where we're at. Mm-hmm. And I could feel better. It gets a lot of stress on it. I've heard people say psychotherapy.
Yeah.
I didn't really believe that until I got on one.
Mm-hmm.
So, but as far as you can tell, I don't do lifted vehicles anymore. I don't do hot rods anymore. I don't do any of that stuff. So no, it doesn't. I like the friendships that it made. I met some really cool people. I'm not saying anything wrong with that stuff. No. Not by no means. It's just something that I really don't want to do anymore.
Right.
Don't have a desire to lay on the concrete at 2 o'clock in the morning, taking a transmission out or rebuild a motor or whatever. Yeah, it's just no. There's not for me anymore. No. Yeah. There's not as much joy as it used to be.
Did it ever make your heart full?
No, nothing. Right. Nothing. And that's where that comes from. There's a something missing when you start searching. And I've said that before. When you start searching for something you just don't feel fulfilled. I tried alcohol. I tried drugs. I tried a little bit of everything.
Right.
I'm trying to figure out how to say this without it offending anybody or getting cut out. I've tried. I can't find words. Just wrong relationships. Let's say that.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I've tried that as well. You know, you'd be surprised the friends you can make when you got one pocket's got money, one pocket's got dope. You'd be surprised the friends, that you can make. But when that goes away, the friends go away. They're just fair weather. They're just there for what you can do for them.
I got you.
No, there was no joy whatsoever, and none of that was never fulfilled me. The only time that I've ever been truly satisfied is when I got saved.
Yeah.
When I got saved, because that's what we're looking for. That's this world's gone crazy as we're living in today, and I'm not trying to get political, and I won't. No. Like I said, I was coming home from doing some shopping, pickup truck, hydroplanes, brand new F-250 that I had, hydroplanes, Caroline Hill over there. Everything goes dark for a second, comes back to, and I don't know if it's sort of lights went out or if it just rattled me. I really don't know. I can't find the lady that's with me. The truck's obviously turned over, but I can't make heads or tails of situations. It's dark. I don't think it's working. It's park lights, no headlights. I'm trapped. My left leg, my knee's like against the kick panel, and my leg's behind all the pedals. Now I just stopped at Tennis. So I'm hollering for her because I don't know. She was sitting right in the passenger seat a minute ago. Now I can find her. Well, when we wrecked it, throwed her in the extended cab part, and she was virtually okay. I think she had a knee injury. And, I haven't seen her in a long time. She was a good friend of the family and stuff too. But anyway, at that time, the best words I ever heard was when she put her hand on my shoulder and said, "Are you okay?" Because I didn't know where she put it. Yeah. Yes, I'm fine. So some people stopped by, and as luck would have it, it's some people that I was friends with that I knew. I mean, what's the chances? And I said, "Get her out of here," because I didn't know if the truck was going to catch on fire. It was turned out, once I figured out, it was turned up on the driver's side, off in the ditch. A few days before Christmas, 38, 40 degrees, pouring rain, cold. I mean, cold. And I was in about 3 hours before they got me cut out. Let me cut out, and then I was down the ditch, and it's a steep little gully. Yeah. And man, they was hollering for backboards, sea collars, this and that, and one thing and another. And these guys was falling over themselves because it was so muddy. And I thought, they're gonna carry me out of here? No, I'm hurting enough. The truck had fell through across my left arm. See a little bit of that. I just leave a shirt on. Right here, this was from here it was in, from there it was out. Smashed my arm. And I told the captain of the rescue squad, I said, "Man, if you'll help me stand up, I'll walk, bring it down." He said, "You'll what?" He said, "You can walk?" I said, "I'm sure I can." At the time, I was there for a while, but sure, because where my legs was and stuff, they were numb. I was asleep. I don't know if I was paralyzed. I don't know. So when I cut the top off the truck, and I slid out on the roof of the headline of the truck, I think I started coming back to my legs, and thank God, Yeah. So I did. I walked and got my ambulance, and Didn't know what a concussion was, but I'm sure I had one. When I got to the hospital, and they pulled me out of the ambulance, first person I seen was my dad. Me and my dad was very, very close growing up. Dad was like my best friend for the long. He's like my first best friend. Um, and he said, "You okay?" I said, "Yeah, I'm fine." They took me out of the ambulance, and where I could see, man, there was people everywhere. I mean, there was people trying to get out of the way so we could roll the stretcher through. And I thought, this is how bad rattled I was. It's like, man, something bad's happened. For all these people to be here, something bad has happened. I didn't know they was there because of me,
Yeah.
But anyway, I lost trucks, lost business, lost everything after that. Was out of work for a while. Healing. I had some first and just a little bit of second degree burns, a month from the road rash. Just took some time to heal.
Yeah.
That would have been, probably 25, maybe. I guess that's 25. Okay. I guess something like that.
Yeah.
It was off for, I think that's off for about a year. I'm trying to remember. It's hard to remember.
Right. No, you're good.
And so I went back to work, trucking. Of course, I've done that more than I have anything else. Done that for a little while, or for a little while. It's all I've ever done. Sorry, I get nervous.
Yeah.
But I didn't go back on the road for a while. I stayed around here hauling coal, logs, whatever else I could do. That kind of played out a little bit, and I went back to hauling car parts, but for a company out of Ohio that we would slip seat. I'd drive from here to Ohio and then drive back, and somebody would take it on down from here. So I was home every day, right? Mm-hmm. Done it for a long time. Still wasn't happy. I was still drinking, still partying, still doing some drugs, just not like I was, of course. Not fun with it a whole lot. It slowed way down, right? Slowed way down. Still, like I said, still wasn't happy. Still tried everything. And man, I was just miserable. And I can't remember the timeline exactly, but it was sometime because I'm a slow learner. Right. You got to knock me on the head. So I didn't get saved till I was in my mid 30s, like 33 to 35, somewhere right in that range. Okay. So from 25 to that point, I just kind of stumbled through life. I had some health issues for a while there, and I didn't work for a few years. Okay. That also takes a toll on you mentally. Yeah. When a man says he can't work, it means it's rough on you. Yeah. So, me and your dad has always been really close. Right. And so when I wasn't working and he was trucking late, he'd call. Mm-hmm. And we'd talk 12, 1 o'clock morning. We talked racing because we did hang out at some dirt track racing, and they, so we talked about stuff. We talked trucking, we talked this, we talked that, and just talking mainly. And, man, he was a big influence to me. Okay. Your dad was a huge influence to me. The two people that stuck out the most in my life before I was saved was your dad and Melvin Stevens. Yeah. We all know Melvin. Melvin's a great guy, good preacher, pastor, a good friend more than anything. Oh, yeah. I can remember being on a mountain because we always, rode four-wheelers, side-by-sides, whatever, when they come along, Yeah. I can remember being on the mountain and I had beer in my hand. Melvin Stevens roll up. And I'm like, just make you feel so bad. And I said, well, I ain't hiding. So I'd walk over and talk to him. You know what man treated me just like he did when he seen me in town? I was like, that caught my attention. Because most people want to run you down. Mm-hmm. I want to say that conviction-wise, I think I was being dealt with a lot longer. I can remember being on the mountain also and go to get a beer out of the cooler. Mm-hmm. And I'd hear this voice that was so soft, but yet so loud. I said, what would you do if the Lord come back right now? I'd go looking around. There'd be people everywhere, right? 50, 75 people. I just walked to a spot. I just heard that. I did not hear that. It was louder than thunder. What was that? And it scared me. Yeah. And I'd climb in whatever I was riding, four-wheeler, side-by-side, whatever I was in, I can't remember. I'd try to outrun it. Stupid as that. And eventually the feeling would go away. That happened a few times. And I mean, I wasn't going to church. I wasn't living right. It just stuff like that happened. Mm-hmm. And which, thank God for God's plan, that His plan and His better than we do, because I would mess everything up.
Right.
Like I said, He took my mess and made a message out of it. And He's been a blessing. So I'm glad to tell everything that I can.
Yeah.
Your dad, Melvin, was a huge benefit to me. They never treated me no different. Your dad knew what I was doing.
Yeah.
Whatever. He said, "Hey, why don't you come to church?" I said, "Taylor, I ain't got church clothes to wear." That's the first thing the devil tells you. Man, you got to clean the outside up. You got to clean up. You can't just go to church. Man, that's the biggest lie there is. Come as you are.
Amen.
They ain't a better place to sit. You sit beside me at the church. I go to Annandale right here. Mm-hmm. It's Sunday morning. I don't care if you hung over from Saturday night. Come sit with me. Yeah. Somebody don't like it, we'll leave. Leave you, we'll leave. Yes. I don't play them games. I don't deal with that crap. There ain't no better place for a broken man or a broken person than the church house.
Yeah. I've
heard the saying, and we've heard it once, that sitting in a church house don't make you a Christian no more than standing in a garage will make you an automobile. I've heard about that. So, and then I thought about that, just riding down the road, and I still drive a truck today, but I think about things a lot. Something come to me, I thought, you can stand in a garage and not be an automobile, and you can go to church and not be a Christian. I said, but as Christians, think about your automobile that you drive. If you need an oil change, take it to the garage. If it needs to be serviced, you take it to a garage. If it needs any attention whatsoever, maintenance-wise, take it to a garage, right? Mm-hmm. As a saved Christian, we need to go to the garage.
Which is?
The church house.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it ain't got to be that building with the sign out front. Good book says, where two or more gather, shall I be also. Yeah. Sometimes I've had church with my buddies on the phone. Right? Oh, yeah. And I've had good church services. I'm not saying don't go to church. I'm not saying that. Yeah. Don't cut that out. So you gonna get me in trouble. No. But that's not what I'm saying at all. No, church is a good thing. Mm-hmm. I belong to a good church. Yeah. But thank God I belong to the church.
Yes, sir.
That's it. That's the most important thing.
And what is
the church?
Yeah. What is the church?
Oh, it's the God save people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they ain't a better. I've been a part of some unofficial clubs or whatever. That's probably not been good. That's the best one yet. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
So it means when I leave here, I got a better place to be.
Praise God.
Huh?
Praise God.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank God. I don't feel worthy of none of this. That's why I got a buddy that says, "Man, you make me nervous when I'm in a church house and you give your testimony because I'm afraid you're going to start naming names." And I told him, I said, "Listen, if this is the least I can do, I'm in. I'll do this wherever. I have done this on the side of the road. I've done this at guard shacks. I've done it at small places. I've done it in truck stops. I've done it in church houses. I've done it at jailhouse. Yeah. Well, that was true. I thought that was tricking me. Come out here and tell your testimony. We just kept going through doors. They kept locking behind me, and I'm like, now wait a minute. Then I thought to myself, honest to God, first thing I thought is I should have checked statute of limitations and some of this stuff I've said. Right. Anyway, no, they're a great bunch. We've got a good sheriff. We've got the lady, Miss Amy out there at the jailhouse. She does a phenomenal job. Mm-hmm. That jail is as clean as a pin. Yeah. And the guys, they respect her. Mm-hmm. The trustees, to everybody, they have nothing but respect for. But back to what I was saying, your dad in Melvin was a big influence. Your dad asked me to come to church, and I said, I ain't got church clothes. And he just laughed. You just come on. Don't worry about that. You just come on. And I just I'd go here maybe a time or two, and I wouldn't go back. I'd tell myself, man, you got to quit drinking. You can't drink beer and go to church. That's not right. That ain't right. But I was going back to the wrong way. I was trying to clean myself up, and I can't do that. Right. It ain't going to do it with me. Yeah. So skip ahead a little bit. I finally went to church, where your dad went to church at the time. Yeah. Man, the preacher would preach. Mm-hmm. He'd preach salvation. He'd preach hell a lot. Heaven sweet. Yeah. And like we'd stand and have altar call. And of course, I wouldn't move, right? So then I'd have fellowship. And man, I'd stand there. Then we'd leave. I'd talk to your dad again that way. He'd say, what do you think? So I like it. They're good people. Man, people tell they love you. They look you in the eye and tell you love you. Now, they mean it.
Oh, yeah.
I dare anybody to go to that church and try not to get somebody to tell me to love you or hug you before you leave there, right?
Oh, yeah.
You know. But anyhow, man, I went one time and he preached and I needed to move and I couldn't. I mean, and I said, I went back to that church not too long ago and give testimony a little bit.
Yeah.
And I said in a joking manner, told my buddy that went with me, I said, man, if you look right here, there's probably like 10 fingerprints in this pew in front of us right here where I was locked down. I'd make a step out and the altar would be that way and I'd go out the back to the bathroom as far as I could make it, right? I was like, Lord, I don't want to go on emotion because they'd be up there singing songs. I'm like, is that just emotion? Are you really dealing with me? I want to get this right. I messed up everything in my life the first time. I want to get this right. I want to be sure. I want to be certain. I want to be sure. I want to be certain. And because I suffer from what they call paralysis from analysis.
Yes,
we
sir.
talked about this.
Oh, yeah.
I got to overanalyze and rethink and double think, triple think, and just by the time I'm done thinking, I've done messed up. You know?
Let me ask you something.
You go ahead.
Looking back, you didn't know if that was. I'm gonna use a word you didn't. Is that you were trying to figure out if that was conviction or emotion?
Yeah.
Do you think if anybody's in a church anywhere and they're wondering whether or not they should go to the altar, you reckon they ought to just saddle up and go to the altar?
If you have any idea, if you're running through your mind, should I go or not go?
Yeah.
That's it right there. Yeah. So if you have that option, or that's running through your mind, should I go or not? You need to go.
Yeah.
You need to go. There's not a doubt. Because my stupid self.
Same.
Yeah. When you get there, whether it's emotion or conviction, Lord D. Lord D. Let's just be honest. He knows. Thank God he does, right?
Yeah.
So your daddy asked me one time after church service, like next week or something. He said, what do you think? I said, I think there was 80 or 90 people there that Sunday morning. He says it on the church Sunday school thing.
Bulletin.
Well, yeah, bulletin. I said, and I believe if it was 88, I said, I believe 87 could have got up and left because he was talking to me, you know. And I'll never forget. I mean, I just kept going out the door. I make a step out, go the wrong way every time. I mean, you know, is that not like a symbol of our lives? Sometimes we'll step out, go the wrong direction. You know what I mean? I mean, and without God's leadership, well, we mess everything up anyway. But I said, Lord, I just want to know. Without a doubt, I want to know.
Yeah.
So, I don't remember the time, but anyway, church service come along, whatever. Same thing. But they're glued, boy, just locked in tight. And, well, I got to say this first. So there came a time your daddy called me one day. He said, can you come by my house? I said, yeah, I'll be right there in just a minute. I thought something was wrong. He didn't ever ask me to come by his house. Right? So I pull up the driveway. He comes out and gets in the truck and says, what's wrong, Taylor? He said, I just got a question. I said, what? He said, hey, Block, why don't you get saved? I couldn't answer it. I was like, well, I don't know. I don't know. Why don't you just get saved? He had a burden on his heart for me, and it was obvious. And love him to death for it. You know, he was such a great influence. And he thinks he ain't. But I'll say it on here too, and I hope it makes it one of the best Sunday school teachers I've ever sat under. Yeah. Man has a way of bringing God's word out. It's amazing. Yeah. It's amazing. Was fortunate enough to get to sit under some of his teaching. But anyway, I left him that day, and I thought, well, why not? What? I don't know. Why not? You know, the devil will give you all these reasons not to. There's only one reason to. You just don't want to go to hell.
Yeah.
So I was at church. Message got preached. Altar call didn't move. Fellowship going on. There's a lady comes by, and she hugs you. You can't. That's a hug in this family every time. You know that.
Yeah.
And not bad. No, I don't mean it a bad way. And she hugged me, and she'd always put her hands on my shoulders and tell me she loved me. Look me down, tell me she loved me. She started turning around, and before she took her hands off my shoulders, she turned back around, and she said, don't let him pass you by. And I think there was about 12 or 14 rows in the church. and I got a pretty wide aisle.
Yeah.
And everybody was fellowship, hugging, and I don't know how many people I ran over. Because the next thing I remember, I do remember somebody jerking a kid out of the way. I do remember that, honestly. I've never told that before. I do remember that because I was dead beeline for that altar. And, man, I hit that altar, and I'll be honest, Isaac.
Yeah.
Heaven wasn't on my mind. Not going to hell was on my mind. I just didn't go to hell. Lord, save me. I don't want to go to hell. You can have all this. I don't know what to do. I don't even know what I'm doing up here, Lord. But I know I don't want to go to hell.
Yeah.
And I know I'm going to bust hell wide open if I don't do something. And I thought it was all by myself. Occasionally feel somebody pat you on the back. You hear the whisper, I love you. You know, nobody interfered with me. That's the greatest thing ever. If somebody's on how to leave them, don't bother. Because the Lord can't do it, you definitely can't. Leave them alone, right? Yeah. So when I got up off that altar, man, I had tears, crying. I was fine. I couldn't cry no more. I didn't really have an answer. I felt better. I got up. The preacher was standing there. I turned around. That whole church was up there behind me. And that stands out to me. You know, I didn't know they were there, but they were there. The preacher said, "You got something you want to say?" And I looked at him and said, "No, I don't." Because I didn't know. We left. And Isaac, I walked out the door of that church house. And I was grinning, smiling. Sky was the prettiest blue I've ever seen. I've never heard birds sing like that before. Mm-hmm. I've never noticed the clouds being as beautiful as they was. Even the air had a different smell and taste to it. And the guy that I was in church with, he said, we rode there with, he said, "You want to go get something to eat or something to drink?" I was like, "Yes." "No, I don't know." I just did. I didn't know what was going on, right? And and like I said, paralysis. Mm-hmm. I struggled with that for over a year before I claimed salvation. Your daddy and Mike Phillips, Mike's passed away. Mike's a great man. Oh, yeah. Keith Taylor told me this. He said him and Mike was talking one day because they had a burden for me. He praying for me. And Taylor, one of them asked the other one, said, "You got a burden for Big Block anymore?" He said, "No." He said, "I don't know what his deal is. There's something wrong with him somewhere." You know, that's just not claiming it, right? So salvation being as wonderful as it is, it's the greatest gift you ever. It's the greatest thing there ever is. It's the greatest gift you ever receive, and it's free. Right? Okay, but so salvation being free and being what it is, mm-hmm. I don't know what I expected. Being the flesh, you expected like a ticker tape parade or a big boom or right in the sky or something.
So why did you struggle with it?
Didn't deserve it.
That's the beauty of it.
That's the beauty of it. Yes, now I know this, right? Right. So fast forward a little bit. I was going to church at Mount Zion, where Melvin Stevens pastored at the time. And I hadn't claimed salvation. Mm-hmm. I was going to church. I was a different person, okay? Wasn't drinking, wasn't partying, none of that stuff, right? But I still hadn't claimed it. And I go talk to this man, right? And it's, I want to know. I got to know.
Talk to
Melvin. I'm sorry. I go talk to Melvin. So at the time, he had a job in an office setting. He had this huge desk. We've both been there. And I would say, man, I just have all these questions about salvation. He'd just look at me and smile, maybe giggle a little bit. I just want to reach across there and choke him. He wouldn't say nothing. I was like, you need to tell me something. And looking back now, me and him was talking about it. He said, I was afraid I'd mess it up. He said, I knew you'd get it right. I was afraid you'd mess it up. I was afraid I'd mess it up. Right. I'm sorry. Yeah. I was afraid I'd mess it up, he'd said. Talking about him, mess it up. I said, well, I appreciate that. But boy, at the time I did. I was tore up. And I had all these questions. And I finally said, Lord, you're just going to show me. You're just going to hit me over the head with it. I don't want to claim this and not be right. And I had all these questions. And I had a friend of mine come over to my house. Me and him was talking, and he had no idea. But we started talking about church. At the time, he went to that church too. Yeah. Great guy. He's still a good friend of mine, good brother in Christ. Yeah. A good influence to him when he thinks he ain't. That's Bill Hatfield. Yeah. I hope he listens to this and hope he gets that name, because he's like me. He lets flesh get to us sometimes, and we all need uplifting. But
I think a lot of it.
Always a great guy. Yeah. uh, a good role model for husbands and things. Because boy, that he's a great dad. He's a great husband. I know that. But anyway, so jumped me back with it. So a friend of mine, so he came to the house. He's asking me questions, and this is going to seem kind of weird, and some people may not get it, but I got no reason to lie.
Yep.
I'm just straight up and honest. He started telling me his story a little bit. Now he had questions, and it was like, and I know this sounds stupid, but it's honest God's truth. I didn't really hear him much anymore as I did. The Lord was kind of showing me things like in I say movie reel because we got to understand things in our way. And he would Bill would tell me a question he had, and the Lord would show me in my life. Remember this question you had? Here's your answer. Remember, and he asked, here's your answer. Here's your answer. And and Bill may not know it to this day. I don't know if I've ever really told him. But anyway, he left, and I had some things I had to do, and I was driving to Knoxville in my personal vehicle, and man, I was just studying on that so bad, and for whatever reason, it come on me again. But I was part of the reason that Christ was on the cross.
Yeah,
it was my fault, and man, I broke down, crying. Just I just didn't know what to think about that, right? So. Anyway, I got it worked out. I was like, I know. Thank you, Lord. I know, right? So the first person I called was Melvin.
Yeah.
And I was driving down the road, and I said, Melvin, you remember that question I've had for so long? He's like, yeah. I said, well, I ain't got that question no more.
Yeah.
I got it figured out. I know I'm saved. And man, when I said that, I thought I was going to bust. I thought I was going to stop, get a car, and tell somebody. Imagine that, some stranger running up to you, especially
that's what salvation do too.
Yeah, it will.
Tell the whole, hey, I'm saved.
Yeah, and I tell everybody. Roll the window down screaming, and there ain't nothing better. If I stay on the side of the road and hear somebody say it, well, praise God.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lord. I got another one. We got another one that's going to heaven. Do all this. So, man, it's been a ride. I was at Mount Zion, and I don't remember what happened, but we were all sitting around after church, just talking, hanging out from church. And I was sitting in a side seat or maybe on the altar or something, and there was some kids there, and they were on the front row, right? And the Lord showed me, said, you need to tell them what you've been through. Okay. So I pulled Melvin aside and a few of the dads aside. So listen, I got something I need to talk to y'all about. I didn't know how this was going to take it.
Right.
I said, I tell them, I think it's a great idea. They said, okay. I said, because I think I didn't know the dangers. I didn't know how dangerous I was. There's countless times that I just barely escaped death. I just barely escaped some tragedy. I just barely escaped all this stuff.
Yeah.
Just barely escaped hell. Like, you know what I mean? I was being stubborn. But that's the first time I give my testimony. You're talking about nervous. You stand up there, there ain't that many people at that church, but still. When you might be telling these people that look up to you, it's known you for so long, think you're such a great guy. And in your mind, you're like, I don't know how they're going to take what I'm about to say.
Yeah.
I can remember one time when I was really deep in the drugs and stuff. Somebody, and I don't really know who it was for sure, they went to some police officers and suspected me of drugs and dealing drugs and things like that, and wanted them to come raid me, bust me, or whatever. And I was, for whatever reason, I don't remember what I was doing, but I was shoulder to shoulder with this cop. We were talking. He was in uniform and everything. He said, Big Lock, he said, so-and-so said we needed to come investigate you for drugs. And my eyes got that big. I was scared to death. And he looked at me and he said, but we both know that's nonsense. And I went right back to
6th grade.
7th grade.
Yeah.
Got him fooled again. Yeah. And honestly, probably had dope in my pocket when he told me that. I don't even remember. But the best decision I ever made was that. Was simply just turning it all over to Christ, giving everything to Him.
Yes, sir.
Letting Him be an intercession for me.
Yeah.
created a way for me to have everlasting life. I don't have to go to hell. It's a choice that we make.
Yeah.
I've heard some people want to say, well, why would God send, if he's such a loving God, why would he cast you in hell? Well, first of all, he ain't going to do it. You make that decision. You have a choice what you want to do. But I got to say this too. It's without conviction, there's no conversion.
Right.
You can't be saved until you know you're lost.
Yeah.
And like I said, that age of accountability thing, I know everybody has a different opinion on it, and I'm not getting into that. But I was 33 years old. 33 years of living like hell.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I was for the most part, everybody thought I was a nice guy. I'd help you out.
Yeah.
If you had a flat tire, we'd help change it. You need a ride, you need $20, whatever.
Give your buddy's toddler a honey bun out of your big truck.
Yeah, all the time. Yeah, I can remember that. I was like, I'd take my truck to Curtis's over to get work on or something like that. I'd see you and them dogs coming. Because, it's easier to pack food in your truck.
Yeah.
Just give you what I had left. And knew at an early age you was going to be a truck driver. I really did. And you just tell. You just tell. And don't mean it in a bad way. I guess I'm sorry you had to fall into that line.
Well,
yeah, it is what it is. Some days are better than others.
Right.
But you got a question?
No.
Okay. So that's, like I said, that's the first time I give my testimony. So let me back up just a little bit. And thank God you've got a good editor, because I'm all over the place. But so, like I said, Rick took me away from all that, drugs, whatever, and got my life straightened up somewhat. And then when I got saved, that sealed the deal, right? I felt so good. So the day I got off the altar and went out to church, I felt good.
Mm-hmm.
When I claimed it, I felt a little better. Yeah. When we had a baptizing, that's it. Yeah. Now, you ain't got to be baptized,
right.
But it is the first step of obedience.
Okay.
I think, my opinion.
Right.
It just shows, and it shows the world whose side you're on. Mm-hmm. Of course, the devil will paint that picture too. Oh, you can't do that because your friends are. And so when I got saved, I had some friends that was living wrong as I was.
Yeah.
And I was worried, and I wouldn't really. I'd see them in Walmart or something. Mm-hmm. Well, shockingly enough, the devil lied to me. Imagine that.
Yeah.
These people would see me, come running up to me, give me a hug. Heard you got saved. I heard you in church, man. I'm so proud of you.
Yeah.
These people was lost as ball and highways. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, wait a minute, what? No, you're not supposed to. The devil said you would. Okay, all right, whatever. Yeah. So, I told you about the wreck over here on 63 that I had. And before that, asking God to help me. Just didn't know if he was real or not. So this ain't been that long ago. Like I said, I'm 48. It's probably been 2 or 3 years ago. I was, we travel that stretch road. For us, it's all the time thing. If we're going anywhere other than Scott County, you go across 63. I was coming home. And Lord just kind of showed me, said, you remember this spot right here? Remember this wreck? How could I forget it? Every time there hasn't been a time I went by there yet that I haven't thought about it, right? Yeah. And he said, that was an answered prayer. What? That was an answered prayer. Let's see. I wrecked a friend. I totaled up my truck. I lost my business. I dang near lost my arm and my life. That was an answered prayer. Lord, I know you know what you're doing, but you might explain this to me. Like, all right, do you remember before that? When you was driving down the road and you said you didn't even know if I was real or not? And you went as far as you could go. You was tired of the dope, tired of that life, tired of this. I was like, yes, Lord, I do remember all that.
You'd turn the radio down and talk at the county line.
At the county line, the same place I had the wreck.
Praise God.
The same place I had the wreck. And he said, that wreck, you lost your drugs. That was the reason you was doing the dope. The type of trucking you was doing at the time kept you around that dope. So we took all that away from you. You started over. So anybody thinks that they're too wrong, that God can't help them, or that they'll never make it, or they can't be a good Christian, I ain't a good Christian. I tell everybody, somebody Melvin asked me to come to Liberty when he's in the pastor there. Asked me to give my testimony there one time. I said, "Why you need a bad example? Because that's about all I'm good for." And he said, we joke, but
Right.
if I can help anybody, I will.
Yeah.
And that part of me hasn't changed.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the way God works. God, I've always heard it. God moves mysterious ways, and thank God in the way He does. And I can sit here and grin about the wreck, the drugs, the life I used to have, because that ain't me no more. I ain't got to hide from it. I ain't got to worry about who I can fool.
Yeah.
I went to the jailhouse to give my testimony to those guys out there, and I asked them point blank. That was a difference. Okay, so I was used to 30, 40, maybe 60, 70 people because I've just given my testimony a few times.
Mm.
They asked me to come out there. I said, yeah. I thought we was just going to sit down and talk to some inmates.
Right.
Like I said, we kept going through these locked doors. We end up in the back outside. I walk outside and there's, I think they said 130 or 140 people. These are just inmates.
No pressure.
Yeah, no pressure. Then they hand this dumb redneck a microphone and say, here you go. And then if it didn't make it worse, they put Robert Gibson up there first.
Be hard to go up after Robert Gibson.
Yeah, it's like that. But anyway, I'm pretty sure he went. Yeah, he did. He went first. He did. But anyhow, man, I was like, I don't know what to do with all this. So there was like 130, 140 inmates is what they said was there. Plus these people, of course, personnel, people gathered around outside, because this was an outside deal, just what they call the bullpen in the cage or something.
Right.
I can't remember what it's called, but yeah. Same place you heard Patrick Odell preach out there. And I just asked, I said, don't mind me asking, you can raise your hand if you don't want to, who's in here for drug charges? And boy, it shocked me. Majority of them.
Right.
Drug charges. So I should be wearing one of them jumpsuits just like you are. The only difference between you and me is you got caught by a man with a badge, and I got caught by the good Lord. But I didn't have to make it this far. But I was in a worse prison and a worse jail cell than what you guys are right now. And if you're tired of that life, you can give that up too. I'm not saying you're going to get out of here.
Right.
But you'll have a better place to go when you leave this earth, and that's what matters most. Yeah. It's amazing to me what God does for us. When you ain't got to.
Yeah. That's grace.
Yeah. His grace is sufficient.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Praise God.
Yeah. I mean, I can't thank Him enough for what He's done and what He's done in my life, and I've got a good family, got a good wife, got a son. We've been very blessed, very well taken care of. Yeah. Can't thank Him enough for everything that He's ever done. But I'm sure if you have any question or something, you can ask anything. You can ask me anything.
Okay. Well, so what are you up to now?
So now I do drive a truck now.
Yeah.
I work for a local actually a guy I went to high school with. We do a lot of I guess over the road going all week stuff. We don't really do that. Yeah. We only travel about probably 5 states. I'm home probably every other day or something like that. So it ain't too awful bad, really. Belong to Annandale Church out here. Go to church as much as we can. Sometimes you know what trucking is. Sometimes you don't get to go on Sunday evenings. You got to leave out. I don't like that part, but it is what it is. I try to do this type of stuff whenever I can. Yeah. My son's 16. Been saved since he was 9 or 10. There ain't a bad side to that, but I know in my mind, like, I don't know anybody that was saved at that age that ain't had to do some work for God. I just hope he listens.
I got you. Yeah.
Melvin, I think he was saved at 9. What can you do wrong at 9? Let's be honest, right? Yeah. What you do, color outside the lines, literally, but it's just, it's great. It's a great feeling to know that, and you know how uncertainty traveling is now, especially. Yeah. You know all too well, you've been a driver yourself, but it's good to know, and I know you know, that if we top this hill and, we pile it up somewhere, that I got a better place to be.
I know where I'm going.
Yeah. Of course, I don't, it's great to know that. Yeah. It is great to know that. And anybody that don't know that, I highly urge seek it out. Yeah. Lord's dealing with you. that's when you do it.
Yeah.
It's I guess I say the word opportunity that you don't need to pass up.
Yeah.
There's nothing any better than that.
As far as doing for God though, as far as doing for God goes, it's what you're doing now. You're not passing up an opportunity
Right.
to give your testimony.
Right.
This ain't the first time you done it.
No.
You did it.
Hopefully that can last.
Right.
Your daddy said he said something, and I took it and kind of kept it. He said, "Boy, he don't care a bit. Tell everybody what a sorry person he was," and it's true. I was.
Right.
I mean, yeah. As far as just flesh on this earth, yeah, I was trying to help you out if I could.
Right.
But as far as like being saved and things like that, man, I wasn't, and that doesn't make just make you a bad person, but it helps you. It helps you deal with things. I can deal with things a whole lot better now.
Yeah. You didn't want to go to hell.
No.
Now you've got a friend that sticks closer than a brother.
Yes. Yeah. I've got a friend. Me and him's been friends since we were in diapers.
Okay.
Crawling around our grandma's house. We're both the same age, 48 years old. He told me here the other day, and I hadn't even thought about it. He said, I've spent more time with you. Me and you been together longer than I have been with my wife. I thought, golly. But anyway, and I told him, me and him talked about this same thing. I said, man, at some point in my life, I know I've let you down. He said, and at some point in my life, I know I've let you down. And it's not nothing we're trying to do. It just happens. He's never let you down. Yeah. You can't.
Yeah.
I mean,
you can't, we can't, as far as fully 100% depend. I mean, I could depend on you to give you testimony, that kind of thing. But dude, you can't 100% depend. Nobody, there's nobody on this earth that'll never let you down.
Right.
That's where Jesus is. That's,
yeah,
the
and
Spirit's
that's it.
Where God is.
That's it. I mean, and I know some people are like, again, back to this crazy world. That's the devil will take a little bit of truth and create a massive lie. And he paints this pretty picture.
Yeah.
And
this will keep you awake.
Yeah.
That's what you needed it for.
Yeah, but that's no big deal. It's a little bit like, how much trouble can you get in with a bag that's probably an inch by an inch? You know what I mean? And then when it's all, that's what we're talking about. A little bit small bag, a couple grams maybe. Grams ain't much, right? And then it got to where I was in rooms watching people pour 8 balls of cocaine out of their boot. 8 balls. What's 8 I don't know. I can't remember the numbers. Thank God.
Right.
I used to be able to tell you to the what's in an 8.
Right.
And that point, and then gallon freezer sacks of crank. Crank is what we use back that speed. It's called methamphetamine because that's what it is. And yeah, we got meth now. This shake and bake stuff, and these guys are in so much trouble over it. It ain't even the same because the stuff that they call meth now, we called it like bathtub crank. We wouldn't fool with it. We don't want none of that junk. Give us that other stuff. Other stuff's gonna kill us. But it was just a purity thing. And thank God, praise the Lord, that He kept His hand on me through everything. He kept His hand on me. Because there's times I should have went to jail. There's times I shouldn't be alive.
Yep.
Like I said, I lived my life a long time mad at God, and I lived my life like I did not want to live. I didn't care if I lived or died.
Yeah.
I can tell you numerous times that I thought I had done enough to overdose. And this is going to sound very odd. And anybody that listens to this that's got any kind of history with drugs, so that boy lying, I'm telling the truth.
Okay.
I've been that high that I've watched my shirt move, my heart beating so fast. And eventually still go to sleep. Eventually go to sleep and wake up, because I didn't think I would. I thought, this is it, I'm done. The pretty picture the devil paints. Let's get back to that real quick. So in Genesis, we're in the garden, and Jesus gave them the law: don't eat of that fruit. Don't eat of the fruit of this tree. You can have anything else, but leave that alone. Mm-hmm. I think, if I'm not mistaken, He said, if you eat of that fruit, you shall surely die. Is that to the best of your knowledge? Is that right?
It sounds about right. Sounds good.
I wish I could brought my Bible. I didn't think about that. And it says the serpent, which is Satan, he's more subtle than any beast of the field. don't want to give him no credit, but you need to know your enemy.
Yeah.
He's very, very cunning. He's very good. He destroyed that mess right there, or the people right there, with one word, 3 letters. Not. He changed. He took a little bit of truth. He took that same verse, word for word, and put not in it. Thou shalt not surely die. They changed it around and got them to paint a pretty picture. And what happened? Jesus said, who told you was naked? Who told you did this? Who told you?
Yeah.
And what's he say? First thing we do, it was them. The Lord said, woman you give me, it wasn't me, it's, so that's not wanting to take the blame for stuff.
Right.
He took one word, 3 letters, and a little bit of truth.
He can be slick every now and then.
Yeah. He'll about convince you to do stuff you don't do.
Yeah.
Sometimes he does.
Right.
Changed it. He changed it. Painted you a pretty picture. But what did you get done? Little foxes.
Yeah.
Start out little holes, big enough you can walk an elephant through. Yeah. It's all said and done. And the biggest lie he'll tell you is if you're walking down the wrong road, even if you're saved, the biggest lie he'll convince you of is, you went 100 miles on this road, it's 100 mile back.
Right.
It's one step.
Yeah.
Jesus took care of it. I mean, let's be honest. I've been saved 14 years, something like that. I've not been perfect.
Right.
I've made mistakes. I've said things I shouldn't say. Right. We all have. But thank God I can go to Jesus. Lord, I'm sorry. Please help me. I'm going to need you today. I've been in situations, Isaac, that I can't explain the outcome unless it was just Jesus.
Yeah.
Wasn't that long ago, I was in a bad situation in a tractor trailer. Where I should have been injured, if not dead. And the Lord kept his hand over me, and I'm still sitting right here right now.
I'm glad you are.
Oh, me too. I mean, don't get me wrong, I got a better place to be.
Right.
But I like my wife, my kid, my family, I like hanging out with them.
Yeah.
Even she probably doesn't like me sometimes, just to be honest. She's probably glad I'm over here now. But,
Well, hey, speaking of your wife.
Yeah.
I texted her earlier this week.
Yeah.
I said, hey, Mrs. Angelina, looks like I'll be having your husband on for a podcast. I got a question for you to think about over the next few days. What's something you wish more people knew about your husband? She said, honestly, I'm not sure how to answer. He's always talking to his friends. I told him, honestly, they know him better than me. I don't have a really deep, serious answer for you. But I will tell you, before we got married, he told me he couldn't live with animals in the house. I've had cats for years. Well, the cats are still here, and he treats them like babies.
Yeah.
One of them sleeps with him most nights.
Yep.
When he's on the road and calls home, the first thing he asks about is his cats. He worries about them more than me or Jaden.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so yeah, she's right. So when me and her started, so can I tell you the story about
Go ahead.
her?
Yeah.
So first time I met her, I was 18.
Mm-hmm.
Keep in mind, remember I saw cocaine at about 17.
Right.
First time I seen her, I thought that's the most beautiful woman I've ever seen alive ever. I've never seen nothing more beautiful than this woman right here. Wow. Mm-hmm. Don't know who she is. Right. So I got to meet her. When I got to speak to her, sat down and talked to her, we met her, got married. And I know low self-esteem, no self-confidence. I never asked her out. Right? We were friends. We were buddies. We ran around together. And just, this is it. I can remember telling some of my buddies, I'm going to marry that girl someday. So and that's about 18. So as life went on, and I went down the wrong road, but I never once, and I can say this honestly, I never once had dope around her. I might have had an open beer around her or something, but I was never drunk around her because she has been saved from an early age. She stood out to me.
Yeah.
She, it would bother me if I thought I'd even have her around that stuff. So I would have her around it, right? So I think as I went down that road more and in my self-confidence, I ain't got a chance with her. She went down the road, I went down the road. Thankfully, the Lord brought us back.
Yeah.
I went through a divorce, and after the divorce, I lived by myself for a while. Life wasn't bad, you know what I mean? It wasn't bad. And I was thinking, I don't want to be by myself forever, you know. And I remember saying a prayer and kind of comical, but not really. Lord, I picked the last one. You pick this one. You know, whoever it is. And then, you know, we've got Facebook, Messenger, and stuff like that. And I opened my phone one day or something. Anyway, she, you know, hey, you got the little green I told you it was available. She was on there, and I just sent her a message. Had no idea. Had nothing crossed my mind about any kind of relationship or anything. I just know she's a good Christian woman. Mm-hmm. I needed some more of that influence in my life going through what I just went through. And I knew she'd be somebody I could talk to. Me and her used to talk for hours, you know, especially when I was on the road or when I was home, whatever. She could call me or text me. At the time we had, I know this is way before your time, we had pagers for cell phones, right? So she'd page me, and if I was at a party or if I was doing whatever, I said, don't. I see it, you know. But anyhow, we started talking and never really quit.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, and I never really thought anything about it. I just, you know, I can remember we text more than we talked for a little while because at the time my job I had, I wasn't trucking for just a little while in my life. Mm-hmm. I couldn't be on the phone or text. I couldn't talk, and she was busy doing her job, whatever, blah blah blah. So we ended up texting till nighttime. Sometimes we didn't talk on the phone. Yeah. I remember one evening. So the night I actually asked her out on a date. This is kind of funny. I told her a story. She laughs at me. I remember asking her out in a message. And I threw my phone down like it's going to blow up. I was scared to death of it, you know. So yeah. She said, yeah. She said, well, we're a package deal because, you know, Jaden is my stepson. Mm-hmm. You know, his dad's not in his life. And I took over that role, and I knew that from the get-go. Yeah. Probably one of the hardest things I've ever done is try to be a correct father. And I know I mess up. I know I laid him down. I know I've not been the husband or the father I need to be. And for her to even say what she said, that just tickles me. But yeah, she's correct. I never did like animals in the house. I love animals. Uh-huh. Don't want them in my house. Right. At the time. So that was the issue we went through. And I was like, you know what? Forget it, whatever. I don't need to be that way. It's her house, her animals, whatever. I bother them. So we got cats. Cats are easier than dogs. I'm a dog guy. Yeah. Cats are just easier.
Kind of sounds like you said, well, there's animals in the house over here. And then how was it you described her? You said
most beautiful.
Most beautiful.
Yeah.
God-fearing. Good God. Good God. This just gets good.
Yeah.
That stays.
Yeah.
Sounds like you made a good call.
I did. And I tell everybody in a joking manner, if you don't believe in God, come spend some time with me and my wife. If that's not divine intervention, I don't know what it was. It's been a true blessing. She's helped me so much. She has no idea the help she's been to me. I've heard guys tell stories that the Lord called them to go to 4 countries. Mm-hmm. You know, speak to people that supposedly never seen man before. I've heard you talk about something. So if I could sit here in front of, you know, in a climate controlled environment and then talk in front of you and this camera, then by all means, that's a whole lot better than a plane and fly some foreign country. So we'll do that, you know. And I hope it benefits somebody. I hope there's somebody out there that's maybe been down the road I've been down that wasn't addicted, but just tired of the lifestyle. Mm-hmm. You know, wanted to step things out a little bit. I also want to say this. The podcast has been great. I mean, I know where we just did 4 episodes, I think, so far.
Yeah, I think it's
watched every one of them. I subscribe to the channel as soon as it comes out, man. I throw the headset on, I'm trucking, turn it on, let it go.
This is number 6.
6.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's more coming. Good. I know you probably got some people. I know we've talked about some people that you're going to try to get on here too. And
yeah.
I think it's going to continue to grow and do very well. It's been great for me personally. There's been a few guys. Paul James went to high school with him.
Yeah.
The difference in that man is phenomenal. Eddie Yance. I don't know if Eddie remembers me from our past life. Right. So, and just listen to his podcast. There was times I was driving down the road. I was backing it up, listening, going, "That's amazing! Wow!" And backing it, listening again, like, "Gosh, I can't." Eddie, man, this really the right guy. I just remember him,
Right.
and I don't know if he remembers me or not, but um, just a walking testimony for what God can do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, there's no. So I use a verse a lot when I give my testimony to places. If I go to church and I'll look when I get there if there's a lot of kids, uh, and I usually tell them. I was at one church and the pastor made them come up front. Y'all come up here and sit. Pressure again. Always eyes looking at you. Uh, so I tell everybody, no matter how you got here, mom, dad, aunt, uncle, grandma, papa, go hug them, tell them you love them because they love you enough to bring you here.
Yeah.
I did not have that. Not putting my mom and dad down, by no
Right.
means, right? I did not have that armor or them weapons to fight with, as far as like, because the good book says you train a child way to go when it's old it won't depart from it, right? So when you're dragging these kids to school, and we are to school, to Sunday school,
right.
to church, and you think they ain't listening, they listen.
Yeah.
I don't care if they're little.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather see them running around screaming and hollering as I would not there.
Right.
But I tell them I still thank them because they're helping you prepare this world. And I know you got young kids, and I hate for what mine has to see.
Yeah.
When he's 16, I don't know what yours are going to have to see. We don't know what the future holds, but we know who holds the future.
Yep.
That's the best thing you teach these kids. And I tell them that when I go to these churches and things, and even when I was mad at him that I didn't understand, he still loved me. Yeah. He didn't have to keep his hand over me. He didn't have to protect me. I could be in all rights, cause stuff I've been through. I should be right in jail somewhere. You know, I can't say that I deserve salvation. None of us do.
No.
But thank God that He saw fit to let us have it. Um, and anytime I can do anything like this, I do it.
Yeah.
But I also, like I said, I got a friend that I rely on about stuff, and me and him talk about everything, and tell him all the time, like, I don't want it to come across the wrong way. Like I'm trying to get glory out of it because you flesh is. It tells you, well, you're telling all these stories of the man you used to be. You want to look like some big shot. You want to look like this. You want to look like that. No, I don't. I want everybody to know that there's no glory in anything that I do.
Right.
There's no glory in any of that.
Where's the glory?
It's in the Lord.
What'd He do?
He saved us.
Praise God.
Yeah, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's where it's at. So my story is simple. Yes, and the good thing is my story ain't done. As long as I'm sucking air, it's continuing on, right?
Yeah.
And I learn every day. I learn every day. I've got some good friends, a small group. We started. There's like 4 of us, I think it is, on a group chat. We started doing a Bible trivia just a few weeks ago. And if nothing else, we each ask a question every day, different, right?
Okay.
We each pick a day to do it. So then we get to do that, and sometimes there's answers we don't know. We have to look them up.
Yeah.
It's excuse getting the book. Even though sometimes I have to Google it to find out where it's at in the book.
Yeah.
But you still find it in the book. It gives us a reason, and we try to do things better. And man, I mentioned a friend or two on here. I won't say no names because he don't want me to. But
okay.
Because he gets nervous, it says, when I start mentioning names because of the stuff we've done together. But we're close. Yeah. We were like brothers before, before we were all brothers in Christ, right? Right. We are very, very. I can call them right now. Whatever I need, they're here, and vice versa. Because it's all possible. I'll make it happen if they call wanting something or needing something, and so me and the one friend was on the phone. The other one called in the other day. And I was on the conference call. And the one guy just usually cuts up jokes. And he was just down there. He was having a bad day, facing a bad day. These boys, I could use some prayers. use some prayers. I said, all right, let's do it right now.
Yeah.
Why wait? Because let's be honest, how many times has somebody come to me? I remember me in prayer. Oh, sure will. And then in one ear out the other.
Yeah.
Not that you mean to do that. Again, it goes back to what I said earlier. Flesh.
Mhm.
I'll let you down, whether I'm
Right.
meant to or not.
Yeah.
But so we just did it right then. He called back later. I want you to know that has helped me so much and this and that. Again, not me.
Right.
Not me. I don't want. That's the one thing that I do not want that I have to fight the devil with every time I do this. Is in my mind, I think the devil put it in my mind that you're doing this for your own glory.
Right.
You're doing this. No, this. I can't stress it enough. It has nothing to do with me, other than I was smart enough. Well, not even smart enough. I just accepted it. I accepted salvation. Knew I was lost. Knew I was a sinner. Needed a savior.
Yeah.
And Christ saved me.
Yeah.
I know that's all I know for sure.
Yeah.
And without a doubt, and thankful for that.
Mhm.
Can't be thankful enough. Thankful for you. This podcast. I've wanted to do a podcast.
Yeah.
And I think I told you, and I'll say this in case it does make it from editing, but I've always said I never felt like I got my full story out. Because there's certain things you don't want to talk about, maybe in church, or you feel like you can't say this word or that word or whatever, and you don't want to offend anybody, especially when you
Right.
tell them about the good things of Christ. And
Yeah.
because if you rub somebody the wrong way, the devil will jump on them instantly. Don't listen to this idiot. And it starts this thing, but whatever. I told you, I was like, I've always felt like I wanted to do a podcast. And I thought, man, I don't know. And then a friend said, you going to do that podcast? I said, if I get asked, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And then it dawned on me. I was actually going back through your podcast, looking at the episodes and stuff, and the symbol, it's a cross, right? And it caught my eye, and I was looking at it, and it said full story testimonies. And I thought, dummy. It says it right there. You said, my goodness. And sometimes, I just wonder if the Lord don't look there and shake his head at me sometimes, but I say that jokingly. But anyway, thankful for it. Okay. It's a good platform. There's so much out there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You can find good or bad anything.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Walmart, telephone, TV, radio. So if we can put some good amongst all that bad, then let's do it.
Yeah.
If I look like a total moron, that's fine too. I know God saved me, and that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Anyway, you got anything else? Anything? I mean, I'm an open book. Anything you want to ask, say, knowledge?
I think I'm good.
Okay.
You feel like you got a cleared heart?
I believe I'm clear, buddy. I probably rattled on more than I needed to, but I'm just,
fine.
I appreciate everybody. The friends that kind of pushed me and helped me make it, because I just called you up and said, hey, I'd like to do this.
Mm-hmm.
If I can. At first I wasn't going to. I was like, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to get in his way. He's doing something good. And then I listened to another podcast, and I'm like, man, like I told you the other day, I wish I'd went first. Now I listened to some of them. Thank God it ain't a competition, right?
Yeah.
Man, I appreciate it. If I can do anything to help you to do this, this podcast, whatever, I try to share them all. And we'll just go from there. Whatever I could do to help.
I sure do appreciate
Thank you, sir.
And we've caught your upbringing. Caught, sliding this way, sliding that way, and we've got your story to salvation.
Yep.
What you're up to now.
That's the biggest story.
And I sure do thank you for coming on, man.
Oh man, I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your testimony.
Oh, yes, sir. Glad to do that too. Any chance I can get to do it, I'm all in.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.